right, good evening, everybody. Captain Jack here, back in the saddle, back in the cockpit. We are at KPDX, Portland, Oregon, and you can see Colorado 1 there on the gate line, and we just watched an American Airlines jet is taxiing on. There's a Spirit, there's a Polaris, and the Southwest, and let's see, not sure what that is right across the way. We are using live traffic tonight. This is live traffic, what's going on right now at Portland, Oregon, and we're going to get ready to pull out of here and get everything going. Hope you've had a really good week, and it's good to see you here. I am glad to be back in the cockpit. We're going to have a good flight tonight, so we'll go ahead and kind of get everything started and get into the flight deck. Let's see, Gary is here this evening. Gary, good evening. I see you in the chat window here. I'm going to pull that up to where I can see it. And, of course, Graham up in Scotland there. So, Graham, welcome. We're glad to have you back as well. Let's go ahead and jump up here on the flight deck. And I've already got a few things started this evening. We have the fuel on board. So this is only going to be an hour-long flight, guys. We've got 12,000 pounds of fuel ready to go. And we're going to start getting our passengers set up here as well. So let's go ahead and start boarding our passengers. We've got 138 folks coming on board with us tonight. And we'll go ahead and start loading their baggage. All the baggage weights have been figured out there. And we're going to be ready to go as we look on our SimBrief flight plan here. We'll go ahead and pull up the SimBrief panel. You can see right here, we're only going to be at a flight level of 1,000 or 14,000 feet, which I thought was a little bit odd, and I checked that a couple of times. Let's see. Hey, George, Derek, I'm sorry, K0ATV is on board. Good to have you here, and Gary and Graham so far. We'll look forward to having some more folks on, but let's go ahead and check out all of our information here. We're going to be Southwest Airlines 1102 tonight, from Portland to Seattle, and that was requested by my good buddy Don up in Steamboat. So he asked for that flight here this evening. So let's go ahead and look at our flight plan. I hope you guys can see this. I actually have added something new to the simulator, and we'll take a look at that. Let me get rid of the flight plan here for just a minute in the SimBrief panel. We'll go ahead and move that out of the way. But we now have the new electronic flight bag panel, which is a tablet over here on the left-hand side of the command pilot position. And as you can see here, our flight level tonight is only going to be 14,000 feet. I had to check that a couple of times. I thought that was a little bit low, but there we go. Gary says he's sitting in the right window. Okay, Gary, so we'll let you have this view tonight. That'll be Gary's seat, and somebody can come over then and sit on the left hand of the airplane. We'll do that here. All right, let's get back in, and let's get into our checklist as we normally do. So we're going to check and make sure that our parking brake is set, and there's the parking brake light on. Battery and standby power on the overhead are in the on position. I'd already checked all of this earlier, so it is there. We're going to go ahead and turn our seatbelts on and get the passengers' attention. Emergency exit lights. The guard is on and set there. The ground power. We'll check our voltage coming in for ground power. That looks good. Everything is there. Our IRS navigational panel is already set the way that it needs to be. Passenger signs, as we just looked, of course, are on auto and set. The electric hydraulic pumps, let's go ahead and turn them on by the checklist here. Yaw damper, we'll switch that into the on position, and we'll get our window heat turned on here, and I'm going to go ahead and turn the probe heat on. All right, those are set. Because we have loaded fuel, okay, everything looks good here because we have loaded fuel. We'll go ahead and turn on our auxiliary power unit so that we can start getting ready to get all set there. And the APU is switched on, and we're going to wait for the APU pressure to come up there. All right, left fuel pump for the APU is also on. Let's go back to our overheads. We're going to turn on our recert, our engine bleeds, and we'll get move the little sim brief panel there, and we'll bring the isolation valve to open. All right, those are good. We're waiting for the APU to come up. I'm looking at my checklist here. I have my handy dandy trusty checklist, so we'll get that to where I can see it, and we'll go through it together here. Don asked for a flight from Portland to Seattle. He said he's made that flight many times. If you guys ever have a request for a flight that you'd like to do, I'll be glad to do that. I like to do an under 2-hour flight for the stream. I think it is just far more enjoyable in that regard. And let's see here. All right, let's make sure where we are. The APU is ready. Okay, we'll go ahead and throw the APU gen on and get our power switch over, and that looks good. We can go ahead and release our ground power. Ground power is now off. And we'll come over here and we'll come through and release our ground power truck. That's him right there at the nose of the aircraft. Looks like we're going to be taking off through some overcast and some heavier clouds there. We may want to try to go above those. We'll see what the flight plan wants us to do and what the weather is going to look like. All right, the ground power truck is gone, so we'll go ahead and come back into our perf init here, our perf init page. So we're going to look for our zero fuel weight, which with about 138 passengers, we're going to go ahead and give that 120.2 on the zero fuel weight. All right, our planned fuel, our block fuel for the hour flight is going to be, let's go ahead and pull it up over here so where you guys can see it too. Move that over here just a little bit. So our block fuel is 9,872 pounds of fuel. So we'll go 9872, and we'll put that in our fuel plan. And it's not injecting in there for some, oh, I see what I did. Okay, 9.8. It needs to be 9.8. So let's fix that there. 9.8, yeah, we'll go ahead and set that up. That's our, okay. It seems like it's always something here. Let's start over again with 9.8. And it's not letting us enter our planned fuel. All right, that is a new one on me. I haven't seen that before. I do know that our fuel reserves are going to be 2.1, so we're going to clear this. Okay, 2.1 in our reserves. We know that our plan, this is 9,872, but for some reason, and I've never seen this one before, it will not let me enter it in there. All right, we'll go ahead and enter the rest here, and we'll come back to that. Let's clear that out. Our cost index tonight is going to be 4.8, so it's got to be a pretty fast flight. You can see that the FMC is wanting to set our altitude at 14,900 feet. So we're going to go ahead and just enter in a flight level of 140. Our cruise wind at top of climb as we come over here. We look for the top of climb, and our cruise wind is going to be coming from 259 heading at 37 knots. So we'll enter 259/037 and enter that and hit execute. Okay, I'm going to see one more time if I can get that fuel to enter there. Yeah, it's not wanting to enter for whatever reason. All right, we'll go ahead and get rid of that for the moment. Let's go 32 on our select there. The outside temperature is actually 18 degrees Celsius. Our takeoff, we're going to do flaps 5. And we're going to wait on our center of gravity here, but we'll go ahead and enter 18.6 for the moment. We may change that here in just a minute. Let's move our sim brief panel over out of the way. And we know we need to set for about 647, and we're almost there, so we'll touch that up just a little bit. All right, there we go. All right, that is in line and looking there. We're going to go back here to our flight plan. I'm going to get rid of sim brief here for just a minute. We're going to go to our departure and arrival. Actually, I need sim brief to come back, so let's bring that back for us. And look at what our flight plan is telling us that we're going to do. So we're going to take off from runway 28 left. There's 28 left. We're going to be departing via direct to Kuga. So we don't really have a SID at this time, a standard instrument departure. All right, so it's not going to give us one there. Let's go over to where we will arrive at Seattle. And it's telling us we're going to land on runway 16 right. So we'll set up ILS 16 right via Hawks Z. And the transition will be Krieg. All right, we'll hit execute on that. We'll go to our legs page and we'll take a look at that. So we're going to fly direct to Kuga, and then to Krieg, and then make it to Hawks, and on in, and it says unable 270 knots at Hawks. Well, that's something that is not going to concern us right now. All right, so that's in set there. Let's go ahead and clear that. Let's check the next leg. All right, that all looks good. There's a vector, so we'll clear the vector by going ahead and putting Bugney into the electronic clipboard there, and put in there and hit execute, and that's going to bring us into runway 16. And yes, we know we're going to be unable 270 knots at Hawk. Let's take a quick look at that. So let's go back to Hawk, and it says 270. And for the moment, I think we're just going to leave that. That's going to be above 12,000 feet. Oh, there's the discrepancy. So I think what I'm going to do in this point is I'm going to just get rid of Hawk, because it's not doing right by us. And it's telling us unable 250 knots at PCAS. So, all right, I'm not going to be overly concerned. We'll pick up with that in just a few minutes. Guys, I'm still learning how to do an awful lot of this with the different routes and everything, so it's a little bit different every evening. All right, we've got 138 passengers aboard, so we can go ahead now and release our jetway. Let's take a look outside. And the jetway's moving away. All right, let's come back in here and let's make sure that that door is closed. All right, the door is closing. We'll get back here and we'll make sure that our... okay. We've got 3,800 pounds on both cargo bays, so we'll go ahead and release and detach. Okay, the APU is running and that's up. We still have a left cargo bay door and it just shut, so we're good there. All right, let's go through the rest of the checklist before we get ready to push back. APU is on, APU bleed, APU gens are on and generating power. We're not going to turn the packs on just yet. And the isolation valve is open. Let's do that. All right, let's set our altimeter, which this is a neat function. I really, really like this on our new electronic flight bag, which once again, I am just learning how to use. Okay, our departure weather, let's go ahead and give that a refresh. So our altimeter we need to set to 3006. So if we look back here, I'm going to set that by hitting the B button on my keyboard. So 3006 is set. So our altimeter is set. Our transponder I've already turned on and is set, and because we're not using VATSIM tonight, although next week I think we're going to use VATSIM, guys. I've been practicing with it a little bit. I think we're more or less ready to go with VATSIM. So we'll be doing that on next week's flight. All right. Let's see where we are in the checklist here. Fueling, loading, boarding is done. Takeoff data is set. Cruise altitude on the pressure panel is 14,000, so that's good, 14,000 feet. And our landing altitude, which we'll be able to tell over here, actually, let's come back to this. Our landing altitude at Seattle is 432 feet. All right, so we'll set that up here, and we'll set this down to go ahead and set it at 400 feet. All right, that's good. Hey, if you guys wouldn't mind, maybe give me, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Also, I'd like for you guys to let me know how the video and how the audio sounds and looks tonight, because I did make a few changes into the OBS and try to change a few things there. I was watching some videos on YouTube and trying to learn how to do that just a little bit better. All right, let's go to map, and we're set on the map. I want to do one more thing here. Just getting my one panel kind of set up here that is in front of me. One day I'm going to give you guys a inside tour here of the flight simulator. That'll be kind of fun. All right, through our checklist, flight directors, we need to go ahead and turn the flight directors on. We don't need the SimBrief panel anymore at the moment. So flight director on the first officer, flight director on the captain's side. And we're set for our 14,000 foot altitude. We're going to be taking off on runway 28 left. And I will show you guys that in just a minute, but I need to set our course to 283. Courses to 283. And heading to 283 for the takeoff runway. We'll verify that once we get out to the runway. All right, going back to our FMC. All right, I'm going to recheck the center of gravity, and it didn't change that much. So our VR speeds, let's get those set. 135 plus 15 is what we'll set for the takeoff, which is going to be 150 for our V2 there. All right, that is set. And the rest of the checklist, we've got all our anti-collision and beacon lights are turned on. Take a view outside the airplane and check that. It's getting darker even as we speak, isn't it? The aircraft has lights lit up over there on the Volaris. We'll just take a little spin around here real quick and see who else we've got with us. There's a United and an American and a couple of Alaskas down there. How about that? All right, back into the cockpit we go. And let's get ready for our pushback. So we're going to pretend that we have our pushback enabled and our pushback request to the tower. So we'll set up our pushback here. We're going to come straight out. We're going to select our tug. And of course that removes the chocks at the wheels. The workers around the aircraft have removed that. And let's go ahead and get started and get pushed back and start the engines. Here we go.
Cockpit to ground. Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start straight back. Roger that. Ready for push straight back. Release the brakes, please.
Okay, brakes are released.
Brakes released.
Okay, we're going to arm our auto throttle and go back to the overhead. Going to engage our fuel pumps. Let those get started off.
Brakes released. Here we go.
And we're pushing back. And to get set for that, we'll go ahead now and we'll start engine number 2. All right, let's see. Packs are off. Isolation valve is, oh, the APU bleed. Yep, it'll always help to get the APU bleed on. That's why you follow the checklist. All right, let's miss that one. Let's go ahead and do that. And let's now, there we go. Now we're getting good start up on number 2. All right, let's introduce fuel. Okay, nope, there we go. All right, engine's coming up. Hopefully you can hear that. And we'll start number 2. All right, and parking brake is set.
Brake set. Alright, steering pin is disconnected. Watch for the slip release from guidance on your left. Have a good flight.
Gary asks, what are the max flaps on this aircraft? On the 737, it's flaps 40. Flaps 40, Gary. I will try to answer your questions here. We're in the busy part of the phase, so if you do have questions, let us know. All right, so our tug is gone, and we're going to set our flaps to flaps 5, which, let's see, let me make sure that they are indicating as such, and they are. I'm going to go ahead and turn our auto brake to RTO, and we're going to taxi to the right. So let's go through our pre-taxi checklist. Everything else is set. And at this point, we need to come up and turn on our engine gens because they are ready to go. Oh, number 1 is not quite ready to go. Waiting on number 1 to spool up. And we'll introduce the fuel and get her going. All right, engine number 1 is coming up. All right, and she clicked back over. So now we'll turn on the gen, and we'll check generator 1. Let me get the switch in the right spot. All right, amps look good, volts look good, and engine number 2 looks the same. All right, we can take off the APU bleed. We can turn off the APU. APU is now off, and we'll turn on our packs, our air conditioners. Isolation valve, we hear those come up. Pressure is coming up the way it should. There we go. All right, and now we are ready for taxi. Take a look out the left window. Flaps are down. And the right window, and everything looks good. All right, let's go ahead and proceed. We're going to taxi to the right. Brakes off, taxi lights on. And here we go. It's really cool seeing those aircraft that are actually here at Portland. So to get to runway 28 left, we're going to taxi via Tango, Tango, Bravo, and then Bravo, Bravo. Let's see, don't know which one of you is sitting on the left side of the airplane, but you can check out those Alaska jets as we cruise on by. Okay, and we've got to go around this kind of northwest end of the terminal. Watched a really fascinating documentary the other day on all the action that goes on at Atlanta Hartsfield Airport. I made that turn a little too wide there. We need to go down the taxiway Tango. Oh, look, there's Delta Airlines. Another Alaska, a Spirit, and a Southwest here on this side of the terminal that we just departed. Yeah, anyway, was watching this fascinating, just absolutely amazing, really, documentary on life at the Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, busiest aircraft in the world. I think we're airport, I should say. We're going to turn on to Bravo here. Bravo's going to take us down and a little more direct. So we're going to turn down Bravo here. Anyway, was watching this documentary, and it showed things about airports and airport operations that I had never, ever seen before. It was really fascinating. If you get a chance, check that out about Atlanta Hartsfield on YouTube. It's really just amazing. All right, as we go on down by the terminal, I love it that it puts real aircraft that are right there at the airport. I watched a couple take off earlier this evening as well, and that was really fascinating. They were all taking off from runway 28 left here in Portland, Oregon. So we're going to go ahead and depart and get on to Seattle, and we should be into Seattle in just about an hour. We've got an on-time departure. I had set the departure time for 6:55 Mountain, so we're a little before that. The aircraft clock you're going to see is off a little bit there in the cockpit due to the fact that I gave us another hour of daylight here in the simulator. You know, that's the thing about flying these streams in the winter is, you know, it's going to get dark early and there won't be much to see, and I really certainly hope that we can see Mount Rainier. There'll be enough daylight left to see Mount Rainier as we cruise on into the Seattle area. Okay, Don says check forward power. Oh wait, that's engineer check. All right. Okay, I don't see anything coming off in the distance, so I think we're going to be cleared for takeoff real quick. We'll do the rest of our takeoff checklist. Going to be taking off with a little bit of a crosswind, you can see there in the windsock. Okay, so let's make our beginning of the right turn, and we're going to pull up here. And we're going to stop. Let's do the rest of our checklist here. All right, flaps are set. Elevator trim is set. Controls free and clear. They are working just fine here in the cockpit. Engine instruments, they are all checked and looking good. We'll go ahead and turn on our LNAV and VNAV here, although I doubt we'll get LNAV at the moment because we're not actually lined up with that. So let's go ahead and do a lineup and wait real quick. Hey, Scott, how are you tonight? You say we're a little delayed. That's all right. You're here in time for the takeoff. So we'll go ahead and roll on over to the runway. And once again, we'll assume that we have our takeoff clearance. Okay, there we go. We are lined up on the runway pretty good. Let's go ahead and give LNAV. Okay, we'll have to hit LNAV once we get into the air. I'm a little surprised it's not lighting up, but we're going to go ahead and get ourselves up to N1 to 50, and of course in Microsoft Flight Simulator somebody's crossing the runway there. And toga, slight forward pressure on the
Airspeed's alive.
yeah, you know, Gary, that's what you normally take off at in the 737 at this weight and everything. 80 knots checked is flaps 5. Okay, what?
Rotate.
Okay, V1 and rotate.
V2.
Up to about,
Rate of climb.
and we'll go ahead and gear up. Landing gear's coming up. Okay, we're passing the outer marker. They've got us climbing fairly steeply tonight. Okay, good. Now they're leveling us out. There's the city lights of Portland out our right window there, and we're going to start making our right turn. Let you guys take a look out the right-hand window here. There's the airport behind us. Okay, we can go ahead and come flaps up. Coming around on course. I'm watching everything, of course, on my instruments in front of me. Okay, and I did engage LNAV. All right, and as you can see, we're heading up into the clouds. Man, that is just about as realistic as you could possibly get, right? Okay, we're coming through 6,000 feet. Good takeoff. Go ahead and set our auto brakes to off. So Scott, you say you can use flaps 1 also. One of the things that this electronic flight bag over here on the left has, I've kind of seen some of the beginnings of it. There's different calculations and things that it's going to allow me to become a better pilot there. So that's going to be pretty cool. Hey, Jeremy, good to hear you. Good to see you on there. Glad you're in here tonight. Welcome. We just took off from Portland. It's about an hour-long flight to Seattle. It's not going to be a very long flight this evening, so we'll get real busy real quick. Okay, let's see. We're coming up on 10,000 feet, at which point I'll go ahead and engage the autopilot. Okay, there's 10,000 feet. Let's engage Command A. And I can free my hands up here so the aircraft is flying itself. And as you can see here on our MFD, our top of climb is not very far away at all. And the aircraft's going to take us up to a speed of 300 knots. So this is going to be, like I said, a pretty quick flight here. All right, I can look at the chat for just a minute. So Scott, they use flaps 1 all the time in the 737. Is that what you're saying there in the chat? Doesn't look like we're going to have an awful lot of visibility. It's like some beautiful pink sunshine there hitting the tops of those clouds. They do an amazing job of doing the clouds here. It's for sure. Microsoft Flight Simulator really does an awful lot of things well. Okay, Scott says, nope, normally they don't need that lift-drag combination for most takeoffs in the 737. That's interesting. I'm going to have to read a little more about it then. May have just taught me something new there. All right, let's turn the landing lights off. And we're coming up on top of climb, guys. 14,000 feet. This is going to be it for this evening. Let's take a look at the aircraft from the outside. Okay, I'm going to pull that audio back just a little bit. Hey, William, love you too, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for jumping in and seeing part of the flight. It's going to be a short flight tonight, only an hour long, as we go to Seattle from Portland. It's funny, I can hear the wind whistling by us here. Okay, Scott, you know what? Next time I'm going to try that takeoff using flaps 1. The electronic flight bag over here, like I said, Scott, you let me know when that was ready. We kind of look at the flight plan there. I have just begun to scratch the surface on this. Let's see what our weather's going to look like at Seattle here real quick. Go ahead and pull that up. Okay, 10 statute miles visibility, a few clouds at 25,000, scattered and broken at 250. Altimeter's 3006, so we'll set that up here in just a few minutes. Take a look at our flight plan here into Seattle. Yeah, this is going to be a very short one, that's for sure. Okay, let's see. What was that volcanic I saw over here? I'm still learning how to use this map, so I'm going to have to learn how to free it up and drag it around. Although we can also full screen it. There we go. Oh, Mount St. Helens. I don't think we're going to be able to see it. Maybe I should have made the weather clear. Yeah, well, there's Mount St. Helens right over there. Yeah, Gary, it is indeed cold at 14,000 feet. Of course, we're flying below the tops of some of Colorado's 14ers right now, just slightly below them at that altitude. Okay. One of the things that I know that I'm going to have to start watching for is our top of descent. Let's see where we think we have the top of descent coming at us here. Okay, there's top of the descent just past Piquez. And I'm going to look at our landing again, runway 16 right. Okay, and I'm going to look at that on my flight planner over here. I'm looking forward to learning how to use that EFB. And then I can be doing all of this stuff with you guys. Yeah, you know, I was watching a Captain Canada do a flight here on YouTube the other day, and then XP72, and those guys are really awesome. If you get a chance, check them out. Captain Canada up there, and then XP72. He does most of his flying, if not all, in X-Plane 11. Okay, well, you know what? We've got an awful lot of clouds here over the northwest. I was kind of hoping for some clearer skies. You know, we could make it that way, but it's always kind of fun to do a VFR approach. Yeah, Scott, I imagine so. I've kind of been learning that, yeah, you really got to think ahead. So I'm going to look at one other thing over here on my other computer while I'm at it. One of the things that I like to do is bring up the METAR TAF, M-E-T-A-R TAF site, and take a look at how the airport is looking that we're going to fly into. So tonight, once again, it's going to be Seattle. So you guys see me off to the to your right there, looking at this other computer screen. All right, and you know what? Yep, runway 16 is going to be just about perfect. I'm going to move my camera over here just a little bit so you guys can see this, but I'm looking over here at the screen on this computer. And winds are at about 11 knots and coming right off of runway 16 there from the front. I don't know if you guys can see that very well or not, but we'll do it that way. I've only got the one camera to take a look at it. And we'll see how this goes. Got some stars up there out the... Okay, Nicole. Nicole has subscribed to the channel, she says. Nicole, welcome. Welcome to Captain Jack's Flight Simulator here. You might let us know where you are in the chat window if you are so inclined, would like to do that. Appreciate you subscribing tonight. That's really awesome. I usually do these flights here on Thursday evenings in the U.S. at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time, but of course they are recorded for a playback at your leisure. All right. Let's take a look at our progress page here. So we're going to be at top of descent here in just a few minutes. Yeah, we're coming up on top of descent. And 21 nautical miles. All right, that's not far at all. And I'm watching that, of course, on our MFD. There's the top of descent. You can see the TD. All right, our entry point for our ILS on runway 16 is 1,900 feet. Once again, I'm looking forward to being able to show you guys all of that down the road here. I think we're making some real good headway. Yeah, we're traveling at 319 knots, so yeah, we're really cruising along here. I'm probably going to have to manage the speed manually as we come in. All right, we need to go ahead and set up for our landing on runway 16 right. So let's set a course of 164, which is what the approach chart is calling for. And again, as I continue to get more practiced in this, I'll be showing you guys this on the screen so you can kind of see what I'm looking at. And we'll go ahead and set the heading, because we're going to go ahead and fly the flight path all the way down. Okay, and top of descent is about 10 miles away. Get that to 164. I'm going to go ahead and set our altitude now for our entry point at 1,900 feet. That's where we'll be entering the ILS. We'll be using ILS tonight. And since we're coming up on top of descent there, I'm going to... Okay, that's where I wanted to be. Actually, I was already there. Okay, you can see we pulled back on the speed a little bit. Hopefully you heard that. Let me bring the sounds up a little. And we need to be above 12,000 feet. So actually, and below 15,000 feet. So we're there at Piquez, and Piquez just went by us. And here in just a moment, we're going to hit the top of descent. You see the TD coming in towards the aircraft on the MFD window. Our speed is reducing. We're down to 250 knots, and we've begun our descent. All right, the airplane is taking care of itself as it begins its descent into Seattle. One of the other things I'm going to do on my other computer screen over here is I'm going to get our flight recorder to set up, so hopefully we can watch some replays of the landing. That would be really cool. Okay, and let's go ahead now and get our approach references. So on the progress page here, so between now and the time we land, we're going to lose about 400 gallons of fuel. So we'll subtract 0.4 from 129.6. That's going to give us 129.2 on our gross weight at landing. So 129.2, and this is a 8,500 foot long runway, so I'm going to go ahead and select flaps 30 and a speed of 134 knots when we land. Okay, we've got that in our approach reference. I'm going to go back to our legs page now and start checking our speed and altitude as we come in. See the lights of Seattle down below us? Mostly just cloud that way, right? Yeah, so it's going to be an IFR landing for sure, everybody. There we go. There's some Seattle lights below us. And we're going to miss Mount Rainier tonight. Well, maybe the next time we fly up in this part of the country, we'll see it. We did a night landing in Denver and not too long ago, and then, of course, Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. All right, so we're looking pretty good on everything here, I think. Our speed is coming down. We need to be at 230 knots. There on the flight plan, we need to be 230 knots at or above 8,000 feet at nets. Nets. And you can see it coming up here on the PFD, and we are indeed descending into the clouds a little bit. All right, let's do a couple of things here while we're at it. We're going to arm our speed brakes and go ahead and go to speed brake 3. And we might end up needing some drag a little bit later, but I'm going to arm the speed brake. So I've armed the speed brake right here, and we're not using any flaps yet at this time. All right, we're looking good. The glide path and descent rate is looking right on the money. Once again, I want to welcome you to Captain Jack's Flight Simulator. If you're brand new, thank you for being here. Smash that thumbs up button anyway. All you who are watching, please smash that thumbs up button. I really would appreciate that. And subscribe if you haven't. We've got a new subscriber tonight. Nicole subscribed just a few moments ago. So, Nicole, thank you very much. I haven't seen you on the chat window there, but appreciate you checking in with us tonight. And my 737 cockpit background, I had a problem with it, so you guys are just looking right in here to the shack. All right, now, one thing that I know that I need to do as well is we need to check what the altimeter is at KSEA. So we're going to recheck that 3,000 or 3001. So we're pretty close to that on the money. No, wrong way. Okay, 3001, that didn't affect our glide path that much, so that looks good. Our minimums I saw a moment ago are 200, so we'll do that. And we're in the barrel mode on the control there for the minimums. All right, so we're looking pretty good. We're descending through 6,900 feet. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the landing lights, and they came on for us, so that's looking pretty good. The airport, because of the clouds, we really can't see it, but it's right off the wing and below us down there. There's a few lights on the ground out the right wing. So we're getting set up and ready for approach here, guys. Our speed is reducing. Tells us we've got a steep descent after Vashon, so we'll be dropping down pretty quick. And I'm going to go ahead and manually take the speed and get us down to 210. All right, we're about to start a bit of our angled downwind leg there. Okay, let's do a couple of more checklist items here just to make sure that we're good. Arrival and weather data are set. Destination weather obtained. Landing altitude and VREF is set and checked. ILS. We need to set up the ILS frequencies. I normally would have liked to have done this beforehand. So we need to be at 110.75. So there's 110.75 in nav radio 1. 110.75 in nav radio 2. All right, that's good. Man, you can see that we're descending through the clouds here. This is going to be a real short final. So I'm going to give us some drag, and I'm going to start setting some flaps, and I'm going to go ahead and bring the flaps 15. And we need to get our speed down here. And you know what? We're going to miss our approach here, guys. We are indeed missing our approach. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our speed back up. Going to go ahead and come to Corsair. We're going to take our altitude back up. All right, and I'm going to have to air traffic control vector us back in. Oh, you know what? I just got fooled by another airport. How about that? I should have trusted the aircraft. Okay, we're going to go ahead and fly a miss approach anyway. Yeah, yeah, Scott, go around time. We would have actually made it, but I got disoriented here in the dark and in the fog. I have only flown into Seattle one time in Flight Simulator. And it has been a long, long time. So I'm going to take us on the missed approach, and we're going to come back around. And there's the airport, and we were going to land on runway 16 right there. And that other airport's lights fooled me. There's another airport just to the north of Seattle there. Yep, I see what it is. King County International. Oh, that's the Boeing. Let's see, Scott says get the flaps to go around and the gear horn will silence. Yeah, I made it in there, yep. Okay. All right, so I'm going to vector myself. back in on the flight path. In just a couple of minutes, well, in just a few seconds, we're going to turn back to the north, and we should be able to make our approach in at 4,000 feet. So we are set there. That is so funny. Okay, we're going to turn 90 degrees and come around to .347. Turn around to a heading of 347 for the moment. That's going to take us parallel to our flight path that we want. $5,000 go-around, Jeremy says. Yeah, I'll have to be calling that phone number, won't I? That's too good. Okay, as you can see, we're coming up on a heading to kind of parallel everything, so we're going to keep going north there until we reach the 4,000-foot entry point, which will be at CLAC. So, you know, the nice thing is here, is I can program the FMC to take us back in. Here, let me let you guys see this. Okay, so CLAC and then Bugney, and we'll put Bugney in here. Okay, and then our next point will be Finca, F-I-N-K-A. Now, F-I-N. Yeah, that Boeing airfield totally fooled me. Totally fooled me. How about that? All right, and then we'll get rid of the route discontinuity. And in just a moment, we'll execute that. And we'll go direct. Tom says, is Harrison Ford your co-pilot tonight? No, I got this one all on my own, Tom. Okay, so we're going to make a heading towards CLAC. And I'm going to hit execute. Well, if I can get my mouse to get there. Execute. And LNAV and VNAV. All right, the airplane is going to fly to CLAC. We're going to do this again. We'll enter the pattern there at CLAC, as you can see on the PFD. And kind of once we make this turn here, I'm going to hit and arm our approach. Okay, and we should be much better this time. Let's go ahead and go flaps 5. And bring our speed down to 160. And that Boeing field this time is not going to fool me. Okay, now we're going to aim in there and hit runway 16 right, which we can see off in the distance. You can see how that one airfield fooled me there a little bit. That's right in front of us. And I thought, oh, I'm too high. Okay, and we have locked in on the approach, so that's good. Bring up the cockpit sounds a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and start the landing recorder now so that I don't forget. So that is started. And we're right on the glide slope and about to come in on the localizer. Yeah, Scott says instrument approaches, trust those instruments. There's always a runway at the end of an ILS. Yeah, Scott, yeah, we got to demonstrate a go-around tonight. So that's kind of what it was. I didn't actually go out to the hold point. Yeah, see, that runway right there just fooled me a little while ago. But, hey, there's some baseball fields down there. Looks like a game going on. Very cool. It's out the right wing here. All right. Not too much going on, but we're heading in pretty nicely here. I'm going to try to get this set. All right. Yeah, pretty soon here, I'm going to take the airplane. We're still about 5 miles out. All right, so we're going to go ahead and lower landing gear. Gear are on their way down. Okay, 3 down, locked. Okay. I think we're doing pretty good here, pretty good. We're about 4 miles out from the runway. Yeah, Gary, thanks. I would hope this would be more fun than air disasters. You know what? I'm going to actually stop my recorder, and I'm going to start recording again. All right, because we were a long way out there. All right, landing lights are on, taxi lights are on. Go ahead and let you watch the landing here. Everything is set. Let's go ahead and go to flaps 30. Okay, speed's lowering nicely. It looks like for some reason there's part of that runway that either has a low cloud over it or it's missing some lights above the threshold there for some reason. Okay, I have the throttles.
400.
And I've got the aircraft.
300.
Just nice little controlled movements.
Glide slope.
Yeah, we're a little below the glide slope, so we'll...
Glide slope. Glide slope.
Yeah, it's going to yell at me, but we're plenty okay.
Glide slope. Glide slope.
Little off center line.
Glide slope.
Okay, coming in over the threshold. Throttle back.
50. 40.
Eyes to the end of the runway. Nose
20,
up.
10.
A little off center line. Touchdown. Hold that nose up. Reverse thrusters. Yeah, a little crooked on the landing, but good nonetheless. All right, there's 80 knots. Okay, we'll let the auto brakes take care of it there. Good. I'm totally happy with that landing. Little off center, but not that worried about it. I'll get better as time goes on. All right, everybody, welcome to Seattle. Okay, we're going to vacate here. We turn the landing lights off. Okay, let's watch that replay. We know we were a little bit crooked there, but that's, hey, any good landing you can walk away from, right? That's what my pilot friends keep telling me. All right, let's do a replay here.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Yeah, we're not going to sink.
Don't.
So let's watch from the outside. I tell you, the speed and everything was good. And we didn't really have too much of a float here, just a little bit maybe. Okay, there you go, wheels down, that nose stays up a little bit and settles right down. And you know, we're fairly on center line there. Yeah, but Jeremy, you know how it is. You want that absolutely beautiful landing, right? So let's see outside our right-hand window here. I think these wing views, I should say, are really just so much fun. Yeah, those wheels just settled and the wings didn't waggle at all. Super happy with that. All right, we'll stop here and we'll go back to the other side.
Terrain.
Other side. The other side. Yeah, you know, Scott, on the replays, here we go, settling down. Ah, there we go. Smooth as an Android's bottom. Speed brakes up. Reverse thrusters. All right. And we'll do one more view here from the cockpit.
Too low. Terrain. Too low.
Yeah, see, all kinds of things go kind of nuts on these replays for some reason.
Too low.
Scott.
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
So the wind, as you can see, was gusting from 15 off the nose. You can see on the MFD there, and so I should have nosed into it just a little more, and then we came down kind of on the right side of the center line. Anyway, we'll go park and let everybody out. We'll retract the flaps, and we'll head on over the terminal here. Scott, you said Star Trek references? I'm not sure what I said now. Not sure what I said. Okay, FSTL is not really showing any other traffic here that I can see at the moment. And I think we probably should slow down too. Let's slow down a little bit here, guys. Yeah, I know. You feel like you're in Seattle? Yeah, for sure. So we'll head on over to the terminal. Yeah, you know, I don't know if my FSTL traffic settings are correct. My frame rates are absolutely wonderful when I don't use the onboard Microsoft AI. Okay, I need to find where the middle of the taxiway is. Oh, you know what? It turned me off there. So, yeah, I thought I was not following some green lights anymore. Who's that drunk driving that airplane, right? Yeah, green lights are center, blue lights are outer. Let's go over and find us a gate. Okay, this is taxiway November. You know, my United Airlines pilot friend who let me in the simulator there quite a few months ago now had said, you know, taxi at 10 miles an hour. Scott, what do you normally, oh, smooth as an Android's bottom. Yeah, that's right. What speed do you normally, there's an airplane. What speed do you normally taxi in, Scott? Curious about that. I would think 10 All right, and I need to find us an entryway. One day I'm going to get the software GSX and, okay, let's go ahead and turn in here. GSX, and I know that it has a follow me function. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, turn taxi lights off, heading into the terminal. You know, I put the new night lighting, here we go, here's our gate. I put the new night lighting in Microsoft Flight Simulator as well. And you know what I did not do there in playing all the replays was turn on the APU, so we're going to have to wait. Let's go ahead and roll in here a little bit. And since I don't have an air marshal to, okay, there we go, parking brake on. Okay, so, no faster than a fast walk. If I couldn't keep up with the plane, then it's too fast. Huh, that's interesting. All right, that's a rule of thumb. Well, Scott, I'm learning an awful lot from you just by having you come to the stream here. All right, so the APU is on, and we're almost ready for engine shutdown. So go ahead and take the fuel pumps off. We'll wait for the AP Gen light to come on. And it is, so we'll go ahead now, and we'll switch over to AP Gen. APU bleed is on. Okay, the engine switches are in off, and we can pull fuel. All right, then we'll get into the FMC here and go to Actions and Ground Services. We're going to request the jetway. Boy, the jetway's right there. Okay, let's request the jetway again. Set the chocks. Request the, okay, there we go. Now we've got the jetway coming over. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and set 0 passengers and get them started. We're going to have to open the door for them first, so let's open that passenger door. All right, door is opening. Okay, and we can start deplaning passengers. And we'll request the baggage carts. And set for 0. And we'll wait on those to get there. And here come the baggage carts. Well, all right then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Seattle. Your baggage will be waiting for you shortly. And there you go. All right, I want to thank you guys for joining me here tonight. It was a lot of fun, a little short flight there, short and sweet, and maybe next week we'll do something else. I've had a request from Tom, my good buddy Tom, ham radio call sign KD4DT, to do a flight into Phoenix. So I think what we may do is either do Denver to Phoenix or, I don't know, maybe Las Vegas to Phoenix. We'll figure out a flight into Phoenix. Might be fun to go back and see the scenery in Phoenix again. Let's see if I can do that. No, that's not what I want to do either. All right, well, I'm going to have to fix that. But anyway, yeah, we'll do another flight next week, 6:30 Mountain Time. Graham, Scott, Jeremy, Gary, appreciate you guys being here, and anybody else who maybe didn't chime in on the chat, but sure appreciate you guys being here. And I really enjoy doing this. It's a lot of fun. and I'm going to add some new tricks and twists and so on and so forth. And I don't know that I'll ever have all the tricks and twists that like Captain Canada and XP72 had, but we'll have a good time and just enjoy learning how to do this and how to stream and all of that kind of thing together. So anyway, let's see. Scott says Colorado Springs to Phoenix would be a good, yeah, you know what, that would be very good, Scott. All right, guys, God bless you. Take care. Hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and I'll look for you next time here on the Captain Jack Flight Sim. God bless you, and see you later.